What up, Space Fam? Goes in here for AnimeUproar, and today we are going to be talking about the quiet, cute, and epic Kanao. She's one of my favorite characters, so I'm extremely excited about this video. Recently I asked you guys on Instagram if you would rather see a How Strong is Gyomei or How Strong is Kanao video. Thousands voted and Gyomei won, so I made that video. But it was really close, so I decided to make a bonus Kanao video since a lot of you evidently wanted to see it. As usual, if we can get 5,000 likes on this video, I will get started on the next one ASAP. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, ring that notification bell or you won't know when the next video comes out. Once again, I've set up a vote via Instagram stories at AnimeUproar where you can vote for what video you want to see next. Warning, there will be spoilers in this video. We're going to be looking at all the relevant evidence we can find to determine how strong Kanao is. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. Kanao is the adopted sister of Kanae Kocho and Shinobu Kocho, and her character arc so far is one of the best in the series. This 16-year-old girl has been through a lot. She's seen things, vision-based pun intended. But in all seriousness, her upbringing was very difficult, but I think it also turned her into a tougher and stronger person. The idea is that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I think that applies to Kanao if we take a long-term view of her own story. For most of us who have mostly first world problems, Kanao's backstory should put her own challenges into perspective. She grew up in an abusive and very poor household. Unlike most people who have more demon-based tragic backstories, humans, specifically her parents, are the ones that made Kanao's old life a living hell. If she or her siblings cried, they'd get kicked, dragged around, and sometimes drowned. Some of her brothers weren't careful enough and got beaten very badly. They'd be dead by the next morning. Kanao stopped being able to cry because crying became a matter of life and death. She had to repress her emotions in order to survive that hellish environment. She used to be hungry, sad, empty, in pain, and lonely every day. But one day something snapped and nothing hurt anymore. Psychologically speaking, she was broken, and eventually she was sold off into slavery by her own parents. But she was so far gone by that point that she couldn't even feel sad about it. Eventually, Kanae and Shinobu come across a dirty nameless girl with lice. The girl is tied up with a piece of rope. A man is leading her like she's some sort of dog. The girl is Kanao, and the man in question has just purchased her from her parents. Shinobu throws money at the man and then grabs Kanao and starts to run away with her. Shinobu is actually upset at first with Kanao. She tells her older sister Kanae that Kanao is completely useless. She won't do anything unless someone tells her to, and that includes eating. She'll just sit there with a rumbling stomach. She's like this because she would have been punished or even killed in the past if she acted without permission. As a result, she lost the ability to make decisions for herself. Kanae is more forgiving and patient than Shinobu. She smiles and says that Kanao can decide on things when she's alone by flipping a coin. It's obviously not a perfect long-term solution, but it works for the time being. And as Kanae says, it'll be fine. If you give someone a chance, their hearts will blossom. A beautiful quote on her part. The two sisters end up raising Kanao and helping to train her. Eventually, Upper Moon 2 Doma kills Kanae. At the funeral, everyone cried except Kanao. She felt sorry at the funeral because she couldn't cry like the rest. Kanao was so upset that she was sweating all over, but she couldn't shed a single tear. Because of her harsh upbringing, she'd lost the ability to cry. However, no one criticized her for it. Everyone, including Shinobu, was kind to her. Later, Kanao proves that she's strong by passing the final selection exam, along with only 4 others. When Giyu stops Shinobu from hurting Nezuko during the Spider Family arc, it is Kanao who manages to catch up to Tanjiro and Nezuko. With an expressionless face, Kanao knocks Tanjiro out with a kick to the head. Now Tanjiro is spent and injured from fighting Rui, but it's still impressive that Kanao is strong enough to actually hurt Tanjiro's exceptionally strong head. She tries to hurt our precious Nezuko, but luckily Nezuko shrinks and dodges the blade. At this point, Kanao still can't think for herself. All she can do is follow orders, and she was told to kill demons. Fortunately, a crow tells Kanao not to kill the bamboo-biting Nezuko but to restrain her, so Kanao does that instead. At the Butterfly Estate, we find out that Kanao is a Tsuguko. This means that she is a Pillar's successor. Pillars handpick, train, and take special care of their Tsuguko, and the successor does not have to use the same breath style as their predecessor. For instance, Kanao is Shinobu's designated successor, even though Kanao uses Breath of the Flower style like Kanae did, and Shinobu uses Breath of the Insect style. The fact that she's a Tsuguko speaks to the fact that Kanao has considerable talent. As we're told in the manga, she's a girl, but she's amazing. She's stronger and more talented than most male demon slayers. While the 3 demon slaying musketeers, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, are carrying out their training at the Butterfly Estate, they have to compete against Kanao, and they have a hard time beating her. For a long time, as we're told in the manga, nobody could hold her teacups down, and nobody could catch her. Tanjiro even says at one point, and I quote, "I wonder why there's such a huge difference even though we became hunters at the same time." End quote. At this point, Kanao is evidently faster and overall stronger than the others, and the gap is pretty noticeable. Kanao wins so much that Zenitsu and Inosuke eventually stop showing up. Tanjiro keeps losing and comments that Kanao's smell is different. She smells very close to how pillars smell. This is huge since at this point, the 3 demon slaying musketeers are nowhere close to pillar level. This was evident when Tanjiro had so much trouble fighting Rui, while Giyu just came and beat him without breaking a sweat. At this point, it's clear that Kanao is something special, even among demon slayers. Eventually, Tanjiro learns about the permanent full focus breathing, which the pillars and Kanao already know, and he gets better. But while he's still training, the Butterfly Estate girls bring him gourds and tell him to destroy them with his breathing. When Tanjiro sees the especially hard gourds, he can't believe that a delicate girl like Kanao could destroy one. But the girls say that Kanao can now destroy way bigger ones. They bring one out that's almost the size of a girl itself. Tanjiro is so shocked at how big it is that he starts sweating. After a lot of training, Tanjiro is eventually able to destroy the gourds with his breathing. After this, he manages to catch Kanao in tag and beat her at the tea game. However, it's important to keep in mind that this was Tanjiro's first victory and it was close. Before that, he lost many times. And as we'll see, this wasn't Kanao doing her absolute best, which we'll see later on when she fights against Doma. When Tanjiro is leaving the Butterfly Estate, he stops to say bye to Kanao. Tanjiro again remarks at how amazing she is compared to the rest of their batch, meaning him, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Genya. He says that she inspires the rest of them to do their best. Kanao doesn't say anything, and then she flips a coin to determine whether she will speak or not. After seeing the result of the flip, Kanao explains to Tanjiro that she uses the coin to decide on things when she's not being instructed. Then, in a beautiful moment, Tanjiro takes the coin, throws it, and says that if it lands on heads, Kanao will start living by what her heart desires. It turns out to be heads. He takes Kanao's hands and tells her good luck. She asks how he managed to get heads, and he says it was by chance, but he would have kept flipping it until he got heads if it came out as tails. Kanao has a nice moment where she grips the coin to her heart, and then a Butterfly Estate girl calls her and she is surprised and falls over. It is because of this scene that I completely get why people ship Tanjiro and Kanao. Tanjiro helped restart Kanao's heart in a sense. He reawakened it. So let me know if you ship it or skip it in the comments. I love Kanao, so I'm totally in favor of the ship. Now let's jump to the Doma fight where we get to see Kanao at full power. Kanao actually comes in while Upper Moon 2 Doma is absorbing Shinobu. Her old, cool-headed, emotionless self is no more. There is a lot of emotion in her face when she sees what's going on. She's so angry at Doma that her veins even pop out of her neck and face. Now, I don't have to tell you that Upper Moon 2 Doma is extremely strong. His rank means that only Upper Moon 1 Kokushibo and Muzan are stronger than him among demons. In his presence alone, Kanao needs to send strength all the way to her fingertips to keep her body from trembling. Since Tanjiro helped to restart her heart, so to speak, Kanao is a changed person. Not only does she feel anger, her emotions make her want to scream. She doesn't need any instructions in order to hate Doma. She hates him because he killed her family. Doma quickly notices that Kanao has special eyes. He is surprised that she manages to survive his initial attacks. He reveals that Kanao can predict someone's movements by looking at the slightest movement of their shoulders, line of sight, toes, elbows, and knees. He compliments her, saying that she's astute and can do things the average swordswoman cannot. Even when Doma decides that he'll crush her eyes, he's not quick enough and she dodges his attack. He comments that she has a well-trained body like a spring. We can't really say that Doma is going full out, but it's still impressive that Kanao manages to stay alive until Inosuke arrives to help. She survives a number of deadly attacks. She loses her sword, but Inosuke manages to get it back for her. Kanao and Inosuke have their hands full with some ice clones when Doma's face begins to melt. The poison that Shinobu had in her body begins to take effect, considerably weakening Doma. Even his ice clones fall apart. Kanao and Inosuke take advantage of this opportunity and try to go for Doma's weakened neck. Doma still has enough strength to create a giant ice statue. Inosuke is surprised, but Kanao notices with her powerful eyes that the technique is rough and lacks precision. She sees through it. She recognizes that it's a technique of desperation and a last-ditch effort. Only at this point do we see Kanao go all out. She uses a dangerous technique that can cause her to go blind, called Flower Breathing Final Form, Vermilion Eye. The technique puts so much pressure on the eyes, it causes them to bleed, and as a result turns the eyes red. It raises dynamic vision to the utmost and makes surrounding movements look dull and slow. So if you thought Kanao's vision was impressive before, now it's on a whole other level. Unlike Shinobu, Kanao is usually strong enough to cut off demon heads. However, as she starts to cut off Doma's rotten neck, his giant statue begins freezing her. Her arms start to stiffen. Inosuke meanwhile has been captured by the giant statue. Still though, he manages to help out by throwing his swords at Doma. They hit Kanao's blade and help push it through Doma's neck. The best revenge moment is complete. They managed to defeat the insanely strong Upper Moon too. I'd even say that Kanao was the star of the battle, while Shinobu and Inosuke also played vital roles themselves. After the battle, Kanao's right eye is extremely injured to the point that Kanao can barely see through it. She manages to find Shinobu's hairpin. She remembers how she couldn't cry during Kanae's funeral because she was psychologically broken. She sees the ghosts of Kanae and Shinobu and they tell her she did well. We get a vision of them being reunited with their parents in the afterlife and Kanao breaks out into tears, showing that she's finally overcome her inability to cry. She no longer has to suppress her true emotions. She can feel again. It is actually Kanao who helps support Inosuke as they walk and cry together. Thus, how strong is this amazingly written character? Well, she not only didn't get in the way against one of the strongest Upper Moons, she even played a crucial role in killing him. While Inosuke got caught by the statue, Kanao was able to use her Vermilion Eye technique to make it all the way to Doma's neck. Then she cuts the rotten neck, with Inosuke's help, something that Shinobu would not have been strong enough to do. Kanao is truly a great successor, and she definitely deserves to become a pillar after this. At this point, she is pillar level, especially when the OP Vermilion Eye technique is activated. The technique is very dangerous and she might have permanently destroyed the vision in her right eye, but when it's activated, I would put Kanao even above Inosuke. She did manage to outmaneuver Doma in a way that Inosuke did not. Then even though she fought Doma longer, she's still the one that is supporting Inosuke by the end of it. I think she's probably around the level of Zenitsu at this point, and perhaps even stronger when using Vermilion Eye. But it's important to keep in mind that Vermilion Eye takes a huge toll on the body and cannot be maintained for long. You could even become permanently blind in both eyes, so it should be used as little as possible. We're just talking hypothetically how Kanao might fare against these opponents at this point at her absolute strongest. Tanjiro, with his access to the see-through world, Dance of the Fire God style, and non-self state, is definitely stronger than her at this point. He has surpassed her since the Butterfly State days. Nevertheless, Kanao is a worthy successor to Shinobu, and I believe that she surpassed her in strength. Speculations aside, she's no doubt a valuable member of the Demon Slayer Corps, and she's proven that she can work very well with other Demon Slayers in order to defeat extremely powerful demons. And that is it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button to let me know. Remember, if we can get 5,000 likes, then I'll get started on the next one ASAP. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is extremely important, hit that notification bell so you actually know when the next video comes out. Remember, I've set up a vote via Instagram stories at AnimeUproar where you can vote for what video you want to see next. A big thank you goes out to our patrons over on Patreon who help make videos like this one possible. I especially want to thank our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Baby Ray, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, $50 Beat, Anatoly Kazatsky, TJ Nathaniel, and Alpha Dio, and are the 1 tier patrons, the ones who stand atop all clans, Steven Ingrata, Alola Notem, Matty Mac 239, Makoto Kun, and The World. If you enjoy our work, you can support more by going over to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these amazing people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord. So check out patreon.com/AnimeUproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also now join the YouTube channel and support more content that way if you prefer. Thanks for everything, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.